Welcome to this episode of TandL Talks, the video podcast for, about, and featuring Puyallup teachers. I'm your host, Nancy, and I work in teaching and learning. So today we are diving into the power of collaboration with the incredible first grade team from Stewart Elementary. Their work together has not only strengthened their instructional practices, but has also led to remarkable student growth. We'll explore how their professional learning community operates, how they use the data to drive decisions, and how the culture of trust and teamwork fuels their success. Let's get started. Well, good morning. We are here today with a team from Stewart Elementary. I reached out to, I think, Renee last spring because your DIBELS scores were remarkable. And I just said, hey, what are you doing? And you sent back such a beautiful outline of the collaboration that your team has. And so that stuck with me, and I thought we need to find out more about this team's collaboration. So thank you everyone for being here. If we could start out by just introducing yourselves.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Amaya. This is my second full year teaching, and I have taught at Bonnie Lake, Eatonville, and now Puyallup.
And I'm Robin Zindell. I teach first grade at Stewart, and this is, I think, my 25th year. I started in Kent, and then for just 1 year, and I've been at Stewart for the rest of the years in kindergarten and mostly first.
Hi, and I'm Renee Fleisch, and I've taught here at Stewart for 32 years, and Robin and I have taught together for 24 years. Started off with full day kindergarten, and then we both graduated up to first grade.
I'm Jill Hartley, and this is my 10th year at Stewart as the lap reading specialist. And prior to joining the Stewart team, I taught 10 years at Chief Leshai as a fourth grade teacher and an elementary reading specialist or reading coach. So this is year 20 altogether.
My name is Chelsea Graham, and this is my 16th year teaching. I previously also taught at Chief Leshai, and I was a kindergarten teacher there for 6 years. And then I moved to the Puyallup School District and taught 2 years in kinder at Zeiger, and then 2 years as a third grade teacher as well. And now I'm here as a TandL lap reading teacher.
Great, thank you. So let's talk a little bit about your PLC. What does that look like? How does it impact what happens in your classrooms?
I'll go ahead and start with that one. So Amaya and Robin and I, we set our PLC schedule. So we have a certain time that we meet together every week, but what we notice is that we really meet every morning, every lunch, every recess, after school briefly. So really we are PLCing all the time with one another. And then with Jill and Chelsea and their team, we PLC quite frequently. We have a set schedule, but we also, after we do our DIBELS, we'll say, hey, we're done, let's meet, let's catch up with each other. So we are meeting all the time, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then part of our culture builders in our school is that we have a core MTSS team, and I am the core MTSS liaison for first grade. So for their PLC, they will send me their PLC notes weekly, and then I'm their representative that takes their notes back to the core MTSS meetings that happen every Monday, and then I'm their representative. So they'll send me their notes from the week, and then I represent them in our core MTSS meeting, and then I share out what they have highlighted for the week or where they need resources matched. And then I come back to their team and share out what kind of resources we have to support their students from their PLC. So just kind of a collaboration between core MTSS and what they've got going on in their classrooms, and then also the TandL Lab side of it, of looking at the data and then supporting for TandL Lab supports as well. So just an ongoing collaboration.
And really that makes that collaboration much broader, right? You do your collaboration with the three of you, but really that informs school-wide practices, right?
Absolutely.
That's a great model.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about this, but the first grade team and the TandL Lab team
have a really strong partnership. How did that come together and what makes it so effective?
Well, honestly, I think it's just a professional relationship that we've built specifically over the last 10 years. I've been here again 10 years, and they've worked together so long that they have a professional relationship and a personal relationship that's just been built over mutual respect and relationship building over a long period of time. And so then when I came on 10 years ago, I just observed and got to know them and built a professional relationship that allowed that kind of to happen. And I noticed that they had a walk to read that had already started for walk to intervention to, intervention to enrichment. And then with TandL, I saw, well, this is a natural for our program to join with them. And so I kind of joined the collaboration and with Dibbles at that time and classroom-based assessments and then TandL assessments that we had. And we just kind of collaborated and worked together to, support students. And that's, I would say, where it started, don't you think?
Yeah, and Stewart historically has had a collaborative team. So as long as I've been here, I've always worked with the resource teacher or the TandL team, whoever it has been over the years. We've just have traditionally had that sort of a culture here. And Robin and I, we've always collaborated together, and it just, no one told us to do it. We just started doing it, and it was just, that personal relationship that we have. We have a lot of fun together, and then with Amaya joining us, we just said, okay, you're with us, you're having fun here. So we stick to business, but we also allow ourselves to have some downtime with one another, and I think that's really important.
So it's the personal relationship and professional relationship.
Exactly.
It is. And there's a lot of trust. Like you have to let it go when, someone else has your kids. And that's kind of the beauty of it is we get to know all the kids, we know all the first graders and learn the kindergartners before they come up and all that. You just have to trust each other. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's also best practice. I mean, we came from a model at Chief Leshai where we did a walk to read. So when we came here, we knew best practice of let's look at data, let's analyze data, and let's look at a model. And you guys were already doing that of intervention to enrichment and how can we support students and really, get them into groups that, is it a WIN model, is it an RTI model, is it an MTSS model, and take this and support kids. And we know we can't do it alone. So with that, how can we find curriculum from the core curriculum, from the approved intervention curriculums, and during that allotted time, best support students? And really look at it as all of our kids, and again, build those relationships with colleagues, but then support students. And I think over the last, you guys have been doing it longer, but over the last 10 years with our supports and then together, that's what we've been doing. And we meet regularly, so to make sure, are there students that, need to go to different groups? Is it they need to move up to an enrichment group, or do they need to, move to an intervention group? But just really figuring out what students need.
We've been very consistent too, I would say, over the years. We've revamped certain things here or there, but keep going with what we were doing.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that the interventions that you're doing transfer back to the regular classroom? I think that's something that a lot of teams struggle with, is getting that transfer, because ultimately that's where we want kids to shine, is in the gen ed classroom, right? How do you do that?
Well, I think it starts with admin support, and I think it's pre-scheduled. So at Stewart, we have a culture builders, and that is meetings that are pre-scheduled for the year that we all know about. So we have a calendar that is pre-set up, so the meetings are already pre-scheduled. So we know we're going to be meeting with first grade for our TandL team meetings at least monthly. And so we will send out TandL weekly updates when they'll know and we know that these meetings are coming, and we have kind of an agenda already preset. We have meeting norms, we stay on task. The norms are be on time, finish on time, respectful of the voices and opinions, stay on task. We talk about what are we going to talk about, and action items. We talk about data and the next steps. So I think if you stay focused in those meetings, you have them pre-scheduled, and that we all know what we're coming to the meeting with. And for like the DIBELS testing as the district-based assessment, our TandL team will do progress monitoring for all TandL students, and they do the benchmark assessment, so we stay focused on that. During the meetings. In addition, they do their CKLA with integrity. So we know when they come to the meetings, they will showcase their classroom-based assessments and observational data that they have. And then we stick to approved district curriculum. And between those conversations, we really talk about data and then obviously what's best for kids and if they need to move from group to group, from intervention or enrichment groups. And then we just make professional best decisions.
And I would say we also have great follow through and next steps after those meetings. I note take everything and then send it out to the teams so that they know, okay, you know, I said I was going to do this, I'm going to follow through with it. So I think that's another big piece is that we have next steps and everyone's informed.
And I think another important thing is that we have the whole team, the paras, everybody that works with any of the kids is sitting in on our scheduled PLC meetings. And they have their input and tell us what's working, or maybe we need to shuffle, so they're heard too.
Absolutely.
So you've talked a little bit again about this, but how does collaboration within your team lead to stronger data-driven decisions throughout the year?
Well, I think we're always, in our classrooms, we're always collecting data, and we're doing reading passages, CKLA passages, and we're comparing those against the DIBELS, and oftentimes very accurate. And then we just have the very quick conversations. Like I have a student that I think they're on watch. And so we'll just talk about that. Maybe we shuffle amongst the classroom teachers there during our walk-to time, we might make some quick changes. But we're just always evaluating the data, comparing it to other data, coming prepared to share it with each other and informally too. So yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times I take the higher students for my win time group. But sometimes I'll pull a student from Amaya's group.
Because I have the true grade level kids, and I had one recently go up to hers because they made so much progress.
Right, so we always are listening. And even I'll say, hey, Amaya, can I borrow so-and-so? Send them over to read to me. Or I have a student that I'll say, oh, I feel like they're struggling. Robin, can you listen to this student? Because Robin works with the lower grade level students. So we're always kind of tweaking as we go. And once you're in a group, you're not stuck there for the rest of the year. Like the old days of being in the Bluebird group or whatever. We're very fluid and we're always shifting and changing. And we've actually had one student who started off in our very intensive group, and she's had a lot of ACEs and things, but she's now in our highest TandL group.
Benchmark mid-year.
And she probably could go to one of our groups, but we want her to continue to flourish and have success. So and we've just stuck to the routine. You know, we haven't done anything spectacular. We're just doing what we're supposed to be doing, and it's worked great with a lot of our students, but she's definitely one that we're all very proud of. So.
That's exciting. Isn't that the best feeling?
Yes.
It's just so exciting for kids and for us. It's so validating that we're doing the right things. So can you tell, are there other times when your intervention and collaboration process made a difference for a student? Can you think of other situations like that?
Well, I think we use our progress monitoring data to really look at the holes the students have with the M class and really just fine tune those skills and then make adjustments off that. Like we don't need to work on that anymore. We're going to move on to this as a group. So I think that's kind of always a work in progress too.
And I also think of our MTSS model here at Stewart, and it's been, growing over the last few years, and especially with, admin support and district support. And when we look at multiple tiered systems of support, of how we do it at Stewart is like resource matching. So it's not just one level. We look at the whole student. So it's like you're looking at a student who needs different levels of support. So it's like we look at our walk two and you're like, okay, well, that's an academic support. So when we're looking at success stories, and I know the student we're talking about, we're looking at, we've got her now counseling supports. She's got a readiness to learn support through TandL for a check-in in the morning to help her start her day. We've got academic supports for TandL. She gets additional supports from you guys in the day. She has a recess coach that checks in with her. I mean, we're looking at all the supports for a student, and that's what true MTSS is. And we have that now here at Stewart, and that's, you know, every Monday when the team meets, we're looking at those types of supports to truly look at a whole child and meet their individual needs. And so I think that's when you look at a success of a program. And when it comes back to a student, I think that's when you know how rewarding it truly is, and that's what makes us proud, is this student specifically that we're talking about, how many supports we've put in place for her, and to see that we're literally talking about, can we truly exit her from TandL and have her be benchmark and beyond? We're almost there. We're not there yet, but we're almost there, and that is a huge success. And
this
we
is
are
her
very
first year here. So
that,
she's
and
brand
yes,
new.
Her first year in school. So
Her-
she-
yes.
Yes, so she's never had school, so it's been a real joy to watch her.
Yes.
And I'm glad, Jill, that you mentioned all the other supports that TandL will help out with the readiness to learn. Because as we know, students are different now. It's more than the academics.
Yes.
It's the social, emotional needs are a lot more demanding than they've ever been before. So I'm glad that we're able to work and find things to help the kiddos that need that little extra check-in, like Jill mentioned, or a stretch break in the afternoon, or just something to keep the student focused and on task, whatever it takes.
Well,
So
and
he- yeah.
even like a recess coach comes in and pulls kids
Pulls
and
them.
takes them for a 10-minute walk if that's something that they need. So it just really kind of brings in everybody that's available to help.
Yeah. So yes, we're proud. I mean, as you can tell, we're super
Very
proud.
proud.
Yes. Yeah. And to be honest, it comes back to the classroom teachers, because we're all the resources. We're the additional resources. So it comes back to the classroom teachers knowing their students inside and out and being their advocates and finding and reaching out to all the additional people we have at Stewart to help support. And it comes back to them doing the work, knowing their students, building the relationships, and we're just thankful for having fabulous teachers at Stewart and knowing their students, building the relationships, and then coming to us and finding all the supports that we have in place.
You know, and Robin and Renee, you're probably best equipped to answer this part of this question, but I think Stewart has a history of strong collaboration, all of the things that you just described. And sometimes schools can get things put in place and then leadership changes and that doesn't continue. It feels like at Stewart, regardless of who the leader is, that there's something in your culture that causes that work to continue, that collaborative culture. Is that your perspective too? And what do teachers do to continue that culture?
That's definitely true, that we've had this culture for a long, long time, and we have had a lot of administrators over the years. I could tell you exactly how many principals I've had over 32 years here. But I think what the difference is that when we meet new administration, because so many of the teachers here have been here for quite a while, and we have strong feelings about what our culture is, I think that's what we always share with the new administration, is that we feel really strongly that we have a dedicated walk to or win time. We have a dedicated PLC time, and that's definitely newer with we're a lot stronger with our newer admin with that. But I feel like we've always done that, and it's just kind of the way we've done it. And no one's told us to do this over the years, but the teachers here just know that that's such a strong, important piece, especially Stewart. We have a lot of transiency. We have a lot of higher need kids. So we're just always trying to do what's best for the student. And sometimes the teachers have to be bossy or advocate. But that's kind of how I feel like we collaborate well.
You guys do very well.
Yeah.
No, I came in as a long-term sub. That's how I got to be lucky to be here. I came in first day. You could tell immediately they're a very strong team. I've been with a few other teams and immediately I'm like, oh, they've definitely worked together for a while. I didn't know how long you actually worked together. But immediately they made me feel very welcomed, and this is how we're going to do things. I'm like, okay, perfect. They helped me very much.
That's great to walk into as a newer teacher,
Yeah,
right?
I learned a lot from them. Like, I'm new, I don't know that much. They know a lot more than I do, so I want to listen to them.
Right. And I think too, as time goes on, then you continue to build that culture. Then you
Absolutely.
become the culture leader as you get more experience and as you're at Stewart for a while or another school if you choose to. Yeah. What advice would you give to a team that's looking to strengthen their collaboration?
I would say that Jill's always been really good about this. I kind of sometimes see like big picture, and she's always like, okay, well, we got to start here. And so I think just kind of coming up with a plan, and then it may seem like you're starting small, but building upon that. So I think that she's really good about doing that.
And I always appreciate Jill and Chelsea. They always come with an agenda, and they go over the norms every single meeting. So we know what the norms are, and a lot of times in meetings, those things just slip by the wayside. Yeah. But every time, here's the agenda. We all get one. She reads over the norms, and she keeps us on task. She allows us to have fun too, but she definitely keeps us on track.
It reminds me that in my own leadership, I need to be intentional about going back to the norms, because you're right, it just sort of drifts if we're not bringing that back to the forefront. So it's a great leadership move.
And I think it's also about forward planning and always having like identified next steps. So when you have a team of like-minded people and like wanting what's best for kids, always keeping that as your priority. We are in the business of doing what's best for kids always. That when we get together and we are talking about what's best for kids, is that we have an action item of what are we going to do and who's responsible for that, so that no matter what, we are doing what's best for kids, and that is the priority here. So as we sit here and as we talk and as we plan, who is responsible for doing the next step, the action item for this outcome for this student. And I think that's one of the things that makes us a strong team, is that we're always action focused for doing what's best for kids.
Yeah. We don't wait till the next meeting to
Correct.
talk about, well, how are we do it immediately. If it's
Correct.
on there, it's something that's going to be handled right now.
Yep.
So-
And again, it's professional trust
Yeah.
and the relationships that we've built over time, that we know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's nice about that too is when you have those very specific action steps, even if they feel very small, it's also super exciting when you've accomplished something.
Yeah, for sure.
When you can share a student success or even just cross something off your to-do list, that feels really good for us as grown-ups, right? It makes you feel like you're moving forward.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, and the accountability piece is nice too, because sometimes we pass our information along, and this doesn't happen anymore, but what happened to it? Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
Like, now we know, like, this person has it and they're taking it from here. So that's good for us to get that feedback too.
Yeah. And we're really proud of our Dibble scores. I mean,
you should
it's
be.
been a long time coming. I mean, I'm going to go there that we are really, really proud of it. I mean, we're really proud.
You should be. Your collaboration and the things that you do on a day-to-day basis has measurable positive impact on student outcomes, which is really what we're here for, right?
Definitely.
That's why we do the PLCs. That's why we do all that. Ultimately is for those measurable outcomes. And you should be really proud because it shows. It shows district-wide, so.
Thank you.
Anything else that you'd like to share about collaboration, or anything that you would like to share with your colleagues?
Well, we've said a million times to each other, we couldn't do this job without the other. And
Right.
all
No,
of
that's
us
very
as
true.
a team, like,
Exactly.
I couldn't close my classroom door and just teach by myself. I
100%.
wouldn't even know what to do.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's very true.
this is the easier way to go for sure, and
I agree.
Definitely.
beneficial for everybody.
Definitely.
If there are people out there at other schools who are interested in finding out more about how you collaborate, are you okay if they contact you?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come in
So-
anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on TandL Talks today. Thank you all for your leadership, and thanks for doing great things for kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to the Stewart first grade team for sharing their insights and experiences with all of us today. Their commitment to collaboration, student-centered decision-making, and continuous improvement is just inspiring. If you're looking for ways to strengthen teamwork at your school, take a page from their playbook. Trust, communicate, and always keep students at the heart of the work. Thanks to the Stewart team, and thanks to all of the TandLers out there for tuning into TandL Talks. See you next time.